Hi, I'm Carolyn Gage, and I want to invite you to an event on Saturday, January the 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's free and online. The event is Georgia and the Butch, a reading of letters between Georgia O'Keeffe and Maria Chabot, 1941 to 1949. Who was the young Butch who took Georgia O'Keeffe camping in the mountains of New Mexico, who was her handyman, that's her words, who was her intimate friend for 9 years, and who was designer, general contractor, builder for her internationally renowned house in Abiquiu, and who did it all for love? And why has she been erased from the historical record? The letters will be read by Ria T. DeLulo and Gail Schaefer and narrated by myself. There will be a question and answer session afterwards where Zibby Wilder, the great niece of Maria Chabot and Maria's biographer, will be joining us. Now I want to say a few very personal words to my lesbian sisters about why I am producing this reading. African-American poet Lucille Clifton wrote, "What they call you is one thing. What you answer to is something else." What happens when what they call us is not allowed to be lesbian specific? What happens when they insist on calling us lesbians queer or gay women? What happens when they insist on calling lesbian butches non-binary or gender non-conforming? What is being censored, split off, erased, obfuscated? And as Lucille Clifton would ask, what are we answering to? Because what they call you is one thing. What you answer to is something else. Georgia and the Butch is an evening of reading actual historical documents, the letters between these two women. It's an opportunity to watch at a historical distance the struggle of Maria Chabot to establish an identity that had no name, to claim her space in a relationship that the culture around her would not or could not name. And we see what they call her. And we see her decade-long resistance to these hurtful mischaracterizations. We see the righteous anger being called tantrums. We see the preference for women being called overly picky spinsterhood. We see the constant need to prove herself, to prove her worth over and over again in a world that tells her she is not entitled to her excellence. We see the depression from her isolation alternating with the exuberance of her feral integrity. We see the courage and resilience, the ingenuity, the humor, the brilliance of our lesbian foremother. And we see so clearly and so tragically, the stakes behind the question of what we answer to. Sisters, be there on the 7th. It's about our lives. To register, see the link below the video on YouTube or look in the comments below on Facebook.